What's poppin', y'all? Ice Spice announced that she finished recording her album, Y2K the album. I think this is such a fitting title because when you think about it, the aesthetic of Ice Spice is very like 2000s. And I think she's like 23, so she was really, really young in the 2000s when like sidekicks were a thing. And I feel like she would fit in perfectly with Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, although like the aesthetic, I guess, back then was like really, really flat stomachs and being really skinny. Maybe not body type wise, but style, all of that. I think she would fit in. Now, this begs the question. I think a lot of people, this is a lot of pressure because Ice Spice has been rolling. And people were saying Ice Spice was going to fall off last summer. And Ice Spice has only gotten bigger and bigger. Wasn't she on a Super Bowl commercial? I don't watch the Super Bowl, so hey, hands up, don't shoot me about this. But Ice Spice has got like over 20 million monthly listeners. Also, let's keep it a buck, that Thank You the Ish song went nowhere. Everybody was talking about it it was like a one-liner. Let me do my little Googles real quick. Is this even on the charts? No, not even on the charts anymore. It can always pick back up, but is Ice Spice a universal artist? Because if Ice Spice is not on TikTok, it might be over. Yeah, Ice Spice is on Universal. Yeah, pack it up, boys and gals. Nah, I'm not going to say it's over, but that's an arrow to the knee. No reference to that game or that old meme. Or let's say an arrow to the calf. That song is not charting anymore. I think it peaked at like some 40 something. So it wasn't bad, but it had like a week and then it was donezo. Ice Spice's EP, like that she dropped last year, people messed with this one and it had a lot of songs on it. You know, it was 10 or 11 songs. I mean, just so you guys remember, this had the In Her Mood song that I think is like well over 100 million streams. It had Princess Diana with Nicki Minaj and the Princess Diana, her version. It had the song with Lil TJ. It had the Bikini Bottom song. It had Munch. And I think like a couple of other songs. So this song had some bangers on it. And people didn't expect to like this. So she already knocked it out of the park with the first one. One thing that I was wondering is how that song with Rima like went nowhere. If you guys don't know, like Rima is the guy that made the Calm Down song. That song has lasted for such a long time. It's unbelievable. They got Selena Gomez on the remix of that song 2 summers ago. So summer of 2022 or the end of summer of 2022, that song was already a hit in like Europe, Africa, UK. They got Selena Gomez on it. It slowly ends up going up. It ends up topping the charts, I think, in the US at some point. So the guy does a song with Ice Spice and it got like 17, 18 million streams, but you would think maybe it would do better. So that was an interesting one to see. But since then, Ice Spice has done a song with Taylor Swift. She's kind of boys or gals with Taylor Swift. They're hanging out at the Super Bowl. Do I think Ice Spice makes good music? That's the good point too, man. Because when I was just scanning through the EP for I'm like, man, I like these songs. You know, I'm not going back to them and listening to them very often. But when I look at it and I remember what I heard, I'm like, yeah, I didn't think that this was bad. However, the expectations of an EP and the expectations of an album are different. It's like, what do we expect from an Ice Spice album? And what can Ice Spice give us that we haven't already heard? Because it's getting kind of tiring. Like the Thank You the Ish song, I was just like, what the hell is this? I don't even like this. The song is a one-liner, and then it's the beat just playing. It's kind of like, hey, you might want to get off this song and just let the beat ride, and it might be cool. However, one thing that I've always said is Ice Spice writes her own raps. That's more credit than I can give to the majority of these other female artists. Now, some people are coming at Lotto and saying, yo, Lotto doesn't write her raps. Please, let's put some respect on Lotto's name. We've seen Lotto rap for years. Now, Lotto might have some assistance in writing some hits. Maybe she'll get a chorus here and there. Maybe that one guy whose name is on the tip of my tongue, but I'm forgetting it, that writes all the hits for all these female rappers. We saw a reference track, I think, from him. Yeah, maybe she gets some assistance in that department, but she makes some good music. And this is where this conversation between Lotto and Ice Spice will come to a head. If Ice Spice drops a whack album, get her out of this conversation. I'm not going to say she's going to fall off. No, absolutely not. But Lotto, she dropped, was it the 777 or was it Lucky? What was the album called? That was a good album. That 777 project. I think it was kind of like underrated. Yes, I would say underrated, even though it had that Big Energy song on it. As for Ice Spice, the conversation that I don't want people to get into about Ice Spice is the sales, and I think that's what's going to hurt this. So hopefully her team is able to like craft a good narrative around the rollout for this, because Yo, Ice Spice is not. If you think Ice Spice is doing 100K, you're tweaking. And if Ice Spice does 100K, it's fake. Hell, if Ice Spice does 50K, I think it's fake. Because last time she had a hit, I'm pretty sure, that assisted her a lot. Now she doesn't. She's not on the charts at all. And we don't even know what's in store. And this is the thing where I'm very impressed by Ice Spice and her team, is we never know what the next step is, and we never know what to expect. And she just comes out with something every single time. And she's managed to dodge every misstep or mistake that other people in her position have done. Like, she's done a bunch of interviews. She's never slipped up in an interview where a clip can be taken out of context and put out as a headline that could harm her, that she would have to later clarify, which is very impressive considering this happens to 99.9% of artists. I would argue to say 100%, but it happens to all of them because you just think you're having a conversation and then you don't think, oh, me saying this in this way, will someone be able to clip it out of context and label me a certain way? You're not thinking like that. You're just having a conversation. So she's avoided that. The worst thing you could say, right, like quote unquote, is like the upside down cross chain that people were coming at her with, which, come on, man. Is that the best we have to come at Ice Spice with? Like, we can't just come at her music. I think that whole thing was way overblown. I don't think she's like demonic or anything. It really seems like she's still kind of nervous about the fame. That's the vibe that I get. Like, she's not very boastful. She's not doing the most. And keeping up this level of success for this long, when the song you came out with was Munch, a meme, that is not easy. And no, this is the thing that it doesn't irk me, but it's like, do some research. Ice Spice is not no industry plant, man. And this is why I think it's even more impressive, because when Ice Spice first came out, nobody was saying she was an industry plant. That is, some people were. But the longer she stayed in the game, they said she was an industry plant. Where if you do your research, they kind of hated her way up into the game. People were just hating on her because her music was terrible. I mean, you listen to that Clarity song, oh my goodness. That is some garbage. But it was coming out of like that Bronx. And that's the thing too. She started on this like Bronx drill type of wave in New York. She got a fan base in New York, and then she left that behind. She's not making that kind of music no more. And I think she knew, okay, let me get out of here because the people that are making this kind of music, they're getting into nonsense, and I want to separate myself from that. I'm going to transcend this, which she did. So I think the disbelief in how she's been able to continuously succeed and level up and drop hit after hit is what leaves people thinking, like, this doesn't make sense. I can't put any good reason to this, and I don't know how this works. So I'm just going to throw an industry plan on her because that's the only way this could potentially make sense in my mind. And I kind of respect that. If you're willing to keep your peace of mind by coping in that manner, more power to you, but that's definitely not the case with Ice Spice. I'm looking forward to listening to her album. I will 100% listen to this thing, even though I don't really like Ice Spice's music like that. Like, there are songs that I do like, right? Like I said on that Like EP, I named like 5 songs that not only did numbers, but I enjoyed listening to, at least the first, second time. However, as an artist overall, as a rapper, Ice Spice, no, she's not good. I would say she's subpar. I don't say she's trash totally, but she's subpar. Coil Ray is better. How about I put it like that? But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. What are your expectations of this album? Like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you for watching. Peace.